Well, she gave me a $15 tip. That'll pay for my. It's a 45-minute drive back home, but it'll pay for my gas and some food or something. So I guess that's all right. It was a good talk. It's about 45-minute ride, and we talked a lot the whole trip. She must have been about 30 years old. Different cultures. Black lady, young, 25 to 30. I don't know how she was, but we talked about everything. We mainly talked about bushcraft, and we talked about how all the media is. We talked about camping and bushcraft and learning a hobby and all that stuff. And so I don't even know what city I ended up in, but we talked the whole time. And if I was younger, I'd have said, will you marry me? It was a good conversation, and so this and I talked to her about the scarcity lie. She said, yeah, it's all. And we talked about the media, and we talked about how you scroll through social media and it's just a waste of time. And we talked about everything. And it's like, she was able to see. We talked about how the younger kids now, they don't even remember a time where they went outside and played in the yard or in the woods and all. They've always had the phone
in half a mile, keep left to continue on I-85 North.
And the social media and all that. I told her, I said, if you want to go, because I told her about some of the bushcraft websites and the camping websites. I said, if you want to go camping, do it. You better do it.
Keep left to continue on I-85 North.
Get back to nature. I told her I was on my hands and knees with an axe and chopping up vines and raking and hands in, I did have gloves on, hands in the earth. Getting back to nature. I was building a deck, putting a floor down, and she talked about. I always thought about getting a sewing machine. I said, "Go get you a sewing machine for $200, and the hat that you're wearing, you can make that hat. Learn." She said, "I always wanted to learn it." I said, "Go buy the sewing machine and just learn it. You can do it." And a lot of people. Because the conversation went in all different directions, but a lot of people, and I saw this post somewhere, a lot of people, even though they like the comfort of the city life and the fluorescent lights and their computer and their nice car, but a lot of people their vacations now are not go stay in a hotel, but go out into nature. And I said, that's good. We need that. We need to learn those skills. We need to not forget those skills. I said, a lot of people nowadays, because of the economy, a lot of people are living at campgrounds. I said, believe it or not, though, some of these campgrounds could charge $400 a week just to plug your camper in. See these campers. Somebody's speeding. It might be me. But a lot of these websites show about. There's one guy. He'll go camp. He'll go out in the middle of right there and just camp. Somebody will drop him off. He'll go camping. Stay there overnight. Getting back to your roots. Getting back to nature. Getting back to cutting the social media off. Yeah, if she and I would have been the same age, I'd have probably said, "Can I have your phone number? We got to get married." Because she sees through this thing. She really sees through it, and she's a believer. She was a believer, and the scarcity lie that they try to say, oh, I said, there's no water shortage. There's no food shortage. There's no shortage. She even said, I said, you can dig a hole. She said, yeah, you can dig a well anywhere and get you water. Yeah, exactly. Even if you didn't dig a well, you could dig a hole in the ground, put some plastic, and the condensation would pick up the water. You're actually breathing water. Getting back to nature and living the real life. We talked about how if you had chickens, it's really, and I told her, the lady behind me lives behind me, she's got chickens, and it doesn't really take much to maintain a chicken. Goats you get goat milk, you can, as long as the goats are eating grass, right? I don't think certain animals are not that time consuming, because we were talking about how if you wanted to do farming or something, it takes a lot of time, but some things, goats and chickens, they don't take a whole lot of time. The comfort of the city life is fine. That's fine, but you gotta never forget your roots, you know? You gotta get back to working in the yard or learning how to fix stuff or having hobbies. You can't let the system keep you in a box. You can't let them keep you in this little box, you know? That's all it is. It's a game. It's a game to put you in a smaller and smaller box. The metaverse is really not, meta actually means above, but the metaverse is taking you lower. Facebook's metaverse is actually putting you into a smaller and smaller box. They want you to wear those headsets and all that. But what about nature? What about walking in the woods? You know, when you were a kid, she said, yeah, when we were kids. She was from New York or Pennsylvania or somewhere. I mean, not Pennsylvania, up New York, but the outskirts. She said, yeah, we would be out till it got dark. I said, exactly. And she said, you slept when you were out there doing all that, you slept good. I said, exactly. I said, last night I slept good because I was putting the floor down. So the younger generation, I hope, wakes up to the game that has been played on everybody. To put them, technology becomes, when you become a slave to technology, when technology makes you a slave to it, that's a problem. Whether it's a slave to the dollar bill, whether it's a slave to a crypto, or whether it's a slave to gold or silver, anything that they create that tries to, because we can barter. Hey, I got some eggs. I see you got a goat. Let me trade my eggs for some goat milk, you know? There has to be that understanding that we don't need the government. We don't need the system. We can create our own little systems in our own little communities if we really wanted to. And worst case scenario, get you a good knife and go out and make you a shelter and make you some traps and get you hunt you some rabbits and squirrels and eat that. See, they took that away from people. That's normal. That's normal. But they stole it from you. They stole what was normal and gave you the fake technology, the abnormal. I used to read the Bible about, I used to ask a question. It's like, God, why did you make it, the people before us, why did you make it so hard for them to survive and on the land, you know? And it really wasn't, because she did make the comment, you know, it's as long as it is a little bit harder, but you got a plan, you know. I said, exactly, you got to have a plan. But I was thinking, God, why did you make it so hard on people years ago, you know, the way they farmed and all that. And it clicked one day, many years ago, maybe 20 years ago. It clicked that if everything's easy, if you're sitting in a little cube, you get up, You drive your cube car to your cube job. You sit in that cube for 8 hours. You get in your cube car. You go home to your cube house. You take a shower in your cube shower. You sleep in your cube room. You eat in your cube kitchen, and you watch the boob tube, the TV, the idiot box, the box, the cube, the TV box, and you watch your phone box. The more you do that, you think that's normal, and it's enslaving you. Technology is making you a slave, and what you think is normal is really not normal. It's abnormal. And it's incrementally, and because you do it so much, you think it's normal, but it's not. Yeah, it's nice to have your shampoo and your soap that you can just go to the dollar store and get you some soap if you want to do that and save a lot of money, and you don't have to actually make it yourself. Yeah, it's convenient, but it makes you forget. If you're not aware of it, you forget where it came from. It's good to know how the manufacturing process works. We got 48 miles gas. Let's see how far away I am. I really can't look at this map while I'm talking on the. If I expand the map to see how many, I've got 48 miles, but I think I got about 40 miles distance. So I got to get gas. But anyway, it's good to know the manufacturing process. It's good to know how you take something from the earth and you make it. It's good to know bushcraft. Maybe you'll never do it, but it's good to know the process. It's good to know how they take metal out of the ground, or sand, or dirt and rocks, and turn it into a car, you know. If you just think, well, that car just appeared, no, it came from the ground. It's good to know how asphalt is made. It's good to know how 2x4 from these trees is made. It's good to know that process. Concrete, how it's made. I'm hoping that the younger people will wake up like she woke up and cut this junk, this noise off. This just. And we even talked about, hey, yeah, once you see one prank video, you've seen them all. You know, once you've seen. I didn't get a chance to talk to her about how time doesn't exist and how it's a hologram and everything's a repeat and it's a birthing process in the internet. I didn't get to go in that detail, but I think she would have been able to understand it. And it's almost as if whether it's the CIA, MK Ultra, mind control, whatever, I guess it's the devil. Ultimately, it's the devil. Freemasons, Jesuits. It's almost like they've created with all this technology, right? You can learn anything, but they've created the social media to distract people from building a skill or a hobby or a trade or something like that. They took away your ability, the younger people's ability, to even know how to change a tire or change a light bulb. I mean, why? The only thing I can do is they've distracted people with foolishness to make them weak and slave and feed on them sugar, and they've infiltrated through the medical system, the school system, the social media, the TV, the new. Why are people? Who has a TV? And if somebody's got a TV, tell me why. Why do you have a TV? I don't understand it. And if you have a TV that's running, you leave the house and the TV's on, you go to work and you come back and the TV's still going. Why? Why? I don't get it. Instead of watching TV after work, go work, learn a hobby, go create a business, go do something to get out of debt. You know, I'll put it this way, if you still have debt, and you have a TV and you're watching TV, cut the TV off and just work till you get out of debt. The TV's a distraction. The internet, the social media, the news, the fake news, the scarcity lie news, it's all distractions. Find your hobby. If you want to go camping, go camping. If you want to kayak, go kayak. Find something. You want to learn a new skill? Go to community college, learn a skill. I don't care if you're 60 years old or 70 years old. Go learn something new, because your life is a vapor, and don't let them box you into some kind of fake reality. I think the younger generation's waking up. I really do. Because, yeah, YouTube censors people, but there's things like Instagram. I never downloaded TikTok, but I know there's free speech on Instagram, and they say on TikTok. I don't know if it is or not, but people talk about the real reality, not the fake reality, the computer box, Think about Bill Gates' generation, where all they did was sit behind a computer, and they had a job where they were programming. They would sleep at the office. They would sleep at the office to write a program. And I'm sure they still do it, like these video games. They're using you. Okay, so people play these video games, right? So the programmers are using you, buying the video games, that they can learn how to do programming better. And now the AI is learning it to make you more of a slave. And they're using those video games to create game theory, warfare game theory in the real world, It's all game theory. It's all slavery. Look at that antenna. You don't think that ain't mind control in that antenna? I know it is. You might think I'm crazy, but I know it is. I know they're sending waves out to put thoughts in your mind and stuff. I know it. There's too many patents and inventions that are out there that you could Google. And I've listened to it where they've learned how to send, I don't know if it was microwaves or what, to send words to people's mind, and they actually did it. Thoughts and words. I'm not trying to get somebody to live in fear. Claim the blood and never live in fear. Just claim the blood and cut as much noise off as you can. I know we gotta, and like she and I were talking, you gotta, now they made you where you have to have a phone, you have to have email, you have to have this, you have to have some kind of technologies to function, So let me to encourage people, if you can see through this scam that we're in, this lie, this fake reality, if you can see through the game that they're trying to play on people, you're not alone. In every city, there's at least one. There's probably more than one. There's probably about 1,000 every city that can see through it. But, if they talk about, look at these clouds. They're not moving. The chemtrails, the rain. It's like, okay, is it going to rain or sunny? They'll say, oh, it's going to sunshine today. Then all of a sudden it rains because they seed plant the clouds. They seed the clouds. They're messing with the earth. They're messing with the human body. You know what happened during the pandemic? They're putting nanobots in the human body. They're getting you to breathe certain chemicals, barium, other chemicals that they're putting in the nickel, maybe. I forget the chemicals, but they're putting chemicals. What's graphene? I saw a video the other day where the guy took a piece of I don't know if that was fake or not, but it looked real. He took a piece of sandpaper and rubbed it on the ground, and then put a magnet on the top of the sandpaper, and it picked up a bunch of graphene. I didn't know graphene was magnetic, but I'll have to check that out later. But I ripped some vines off the side of the house with I took the claw of a hammer and just ripped it off. I mean, it looked like a big job. I thought, oh no, I need to get my weed eater or what? And it looked like a big job, but no, my claw on my hammer, I just ripped the weeds off, and then I took my axe and I just cut the base of the weeds, and then I took my rake, and when you're raking the brush debris, the vines actually acted like, as you raked, the vines acted like a rope that you can just pick up all the leaves and the debris and carry it, because the vines became the rope that held it together, so you can get rid of the brush. It's like, oh, that's a new one. I thought I was gonna have to get a tarp and break it onto the tarp. No, the vines held all that debris together. The leaves and the vines, it held it all together. You can just pick it up and go. It's like, wow, learned something new. Who would have thought? It was easier than I thought. That's my point. If you don't get out there and do something, you're not going to learn it. You gotta have some hobbies that you get out in nature. You get out of the 666 cube box that they want you in. Thanks to the gatekeeper, Bill Gates. And Rockefeller fell the rock, and Rothschild, child of wrath. Roth means wrath, child of wrath. All this stuff is, I mean, if your hobby's working on machines, fine, that's cool. Changing tires, learning how to do tires work, engine work, transmission, that's cool. Somebody's got to do it. Whatever your hobby is. A sewing machine's technology, but I told her, I said, you can do it. To be awake at 25, 30, however, to be that awake at her age tells me that there's a movement going on. She was kind of afraid to talk about it, but I kind of helped open up the conversation, because I know how when you're talking to strangers at first, they don't want to say something that makes them sound crazy. And so I know how to, like, when I'm talking to somebody, I know how to probe where they're at, because I've had enough conversations doing this. I know how to probe where they're at, to see where they're at, you know. Exit. I gotta get some gas. Anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. I'm just hoping people will get a hobby and don't procrastinate. Find whatever hobby you want to do it today, or do it in the morning. Go to Walmart and buy you a sewing machine or whatever you want to do.
At the light, turn left onto South Main Street.
I hope there's a gas station right here. Yeah, I see one down there. And so whatever you want to do, don't let somebody discourage you. One time I started
In 300 feet, make a U-turn at Renola Drive.
I started a mailbox business, and my stepdad, he wasn't saved at the time.
Head southeast on South Main Street toward Renola Drive.
He got saved on his deathbed.
In 1,000 feet, make a U-turn.
He said, that'll never work. And I proved him wrong, and I made it work. I was throwing flyers out house to house, you know.
Make a U-turn.
This is a long time ago. But anyway, he said, it'll never work, and I proved him wrong. So whatever your dream is, whatever you want to do, whatever your hands find to do with all your might, for in the grave there's no work. That's Old Testament, but still, it applies.
In 600 feet, turn right onto Brook Hollow Lane.
It still applies.
In 600 feet, turn right onto North Main Street. Turn left toward York Place, then turn left.
Even if you don't like your job, learn to like it. Get so good at it that they might promote you to be the boss.
Take the next left toward York Place, then turn right.
Or the supervisor, the lead, or whatever. Get so good at it that it's like so easy. Like if you wanted to clean this dashboard and you try different chemicals and you try different ways and you like clean, even if it's cleaning cars, get so good at cleaning this dash that people would actually pay you to clean this dashboard, clean this window, and get some kind of chemical that would repel the dust or whatever. Get so good at it, and you would create your own little business out of a hobby. You know, you can create a business out of anything, for real. That costs $3.49 for it's just half and half, very little for that little piece of junk. How's it going? Break the paradigm. Break the paradigm. Break the fear. Break the mind control. Break it. Break the doubt and the worry and the shame and the guilt and the mind control and the living in the past. The past don't exist anymore. It don't even exist. Why are you thinking about the past? I don't care about that past relationship. It don't even exist anymore. It's over. You need to think that way. You're not even the same person anymore. Every day you change. When two people come together, they collapse the wave function. A man and woman, when they come together, they collapse the wave function, and they start to become one in their functioning down here. But when there's a split, for whatever reason, you go off and the wave function is being destroyed, even though the Bible makes it clear that they're one. But you can start to develop yourself and get your identity in Christ alone. You don't need another person to have your identity. And and the reason I'm saying that, I've talked to a lot of people recently, and they're all worried about some kind of relationship. If you're worried about it, do you really need to be in it? If it's worrying you that much, let it go.